It's summertime, and who doesn't love an amazing catfish po' boy? Sometimes catfish in summertime, I don't know, they just go hand in hand. So you're gonna love this one. Trust me, it's easy. Let's get to cooking. Like I said, summertime and catfish just go hand in hand. And for me, there's nothing better than a fresh catfish. Now, whether it's fresh caught or whether it is just from your local grocery store like this one, trust me, it will be delicious once you batter it and fry it. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm essentially taking this whole fillet and then I'm gonna cut it. So cut it in half. Some people like to fillet it again, making it thinner, but these are actually pretty thin catfish. But if you just went fishing and you caught that fresh catfish and it's a thick boy, make sure you cut it extra thin, just so you're not getting a big old hunk of catfish within your sandwich there. So some people don't like catfish, and that's totally okay. The thing about a po' boy is, well, you can have it any way. You can do shrimp, you could do alligator, you could do mahi-mahi, you could do a fried mahi-mahi if you wanted to. There's so many different types of seafood you can use. Essentially, a po' boy is a fried piece of seafood and a little bit of lettuce and tomato, mayonnaise, and you're ready to eat. Next step is super simple. I've got 1 egg and I got a bowl, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a crispy texture for my catfish. Now remember, you can do this with anything, shrimp, grouper, gator, and all I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a crispy crust by using just 1 egg, 2 eggs, depending on how much you are cooking, of course. Now the eggs are all done, I want to talk about the seasoning. Now I just went ahead and bought that seasoned mix, fish fry mix. You can get all sorts of different ones. This is my favorite one. I'm going to pour it in this nifty little batter shaker. And if you're wondering where I got this, Amazon, y'all, it is the best. Pour it in here at the bottom. Then I'm going to put that grate down. I'm going to take my catfish that I am now dredging, and now I'm going to add it to this nifty little shaker here, adding them at the bottom. And then this is the fun part, this is my absolute favorite part, is the shake it. Just make sure that lid's on real good, and you're just gonna shake it. And of course, if you're wondering where I learned this method, Mr. Bruce Mitchell, this is for you. He says it's all in the hips, and well, I'm a little pregnant, so I can only really move my hips so much, but strong hip game, it's strong hip game. It is so fun, and this thing is the best. So let's see how it did. Hey, this thing worked out pretty great. You can see it got all sides of the fish nice and battered here. So gotta love that. We're gonna take it over to our preheated griddle. Now I've let my peanut oil, I'm using peanut oil, you can use whatever oil you want to. This has been heating for quite some time now on high. So all I'm gonna do is just add in that catfish, and right off the bat there, you can see it's already starting to cook. Now a little tip, if you're not sure if your oil's ready yet, you really want that bubble, just toss in some water, spritz some water, and that will mean when it starts to fizzle, that is ready for you to drop in your fish. What's really important when you fry this fish is you don't want to overcrowd in the oil. You really want them to have space to cook evenly, and also you're gonna be flipping them at some point as well. So just make sure you're not overcrowding your skillet. Now you can see I'm using a cast iron skillet. You certainly don't have to. I've seen our Griddle Nation use those aluminum foils that are just throwaway disposable. You can, of course, use that as well. It only takes about 8 minutes for these catfish to fry, about 4 minutes on each side. My grandmother always told me, don't play with them. Just let them be for the whole 4 minutes and then flip them on over. I had a little trick here. I put a paper towel down here in a bowl, and I let this catfish just get all that excess oil off. So I'm gonna drain it here. And see the coloring of these, nice and crispy, beautiful golden brown. That is what you are looking for. Let's talk about the bread now. The bread is key. You gotta have the French bread. The French bread is what it's all about, especially if you're from New Orleans. Now, with this bread, I'm gonna cut it directly in half. Learned a bit of a trick from my buddy Bruce the Alligator Man. He told me, well, he didn't tell me, but he did do a little trick that I've got to follow, and this is using your butter and a couple of seasonings right on your griddle. So what I'm gonna do to prep this bread is I'm gonna toss on some butter here. Got about 2.5 tablespoons on there. So I'm just gonna run this around here. Now the way Bruce does it is he puts his seasoning down first and then he uses his butter, but I'm gonna do it a little bit of opposite here. Notice I've got plenty of butter, that is key. Two of my favorite seasonings is, of course, the Blackstone S.P.G and the Blackstone Bayou blend. So I'm going to just shaky right on top of this butter here. And then once we got this all seasoned down, we're gonna dredge that bread right on into that butter. And you'll notice when I cut earlier, I did not use the middle piece. For me, I just like the two ends of the bread. So that's how I do it, but I'll save that middle piece for maybe a little turkey sandwich later. So let's let that cook down. Remember, when you get this down, maybe like move it around a bit, just because like I said, you want that bread to really dredge on all those flavors. These are looking good. We're gonna give them about 2 minutes and then we're gonna talk about the build. All right, look at that nice and toasty French bread here. Now it's time to build. So we're gonna add some, not mayo, we're lessening up the dairy in this household. We're gonna add some mayonnaise, we're gonna add some remoulade sauce. You can make your own, but today I'm trying to be quick in the summertime because it is hot, y'all, and I'm adding this bottled remoulade. Now we're gonna lay down a couple slices of tomato. We're gonna go for lettuce. Now, we've got to add the pickles. I don't want to hear anything in the comments. Just trust me on this. Add those pickles to the po' boy. Now we're going to add the golden boy of the catfish bites. We're going to add that to the top of all the veggies here, squeezing some fresh lemon juice right on top of that crispy catfish. We're going to put the top on here, press it down a little bit. Y'all, it is looking so good. I've got to try this. Now, these are big boys, so we'll see how I do. Oh, just, can we look at this? All right, here we go. Yeah. Wow. I mean, honestly, that's probably the best po' boy I've ever had. I don't know if it's because Mr. Bruce here, I learned some tricks from him. Maybe I doubled up on the sauce this time, a little extra crispier on my fish, but I tell you, you've got to try this. In the summertime, it is the best sandwich, whether it's poolside, feeding a slew of people because you can make a bunch of it, or maybe you just want a quick little lunchtime sandwich. Remember, at the end of the day, you always want to keep 3 things. You want to keep it quick, you got to keep it simple, and of course, you've got to keep it delicious. My name's Taylor Mock, and I'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.